2 days before the end of the world. 2 days before the end of the world, he realized he had never truly lived. His calendar was full, with only 2 days left untouched, just 2 days. Panicked, distressed, and angry, he went to God to ask for more time. He shouted and cursed, but God remained silent. He screamed and caused a commotion, but God remained silent. He turned the heavens and earth upside down, but God remained silent. He entangled angels and humans in his frenzy, but God remained silent. He blasphemed and threw away his prayer rug, but God remained silent. His heart ached, and he wept, falling into prostration. Finally, God broke his silence and said, "My dear, but another day has passed. You wasted the entire day with curses and chaos. Only one day remains. Come, at least live this one day." Between sobs, he said, "But with one day, what can I do with just one day?" God replied, "He who experiences the joy of living for one day is as though he has lived 1,000 years, and he who does not embrace today will not benefit from 1,000 years. Then, God poured the portion of one day's life into his hands and said, "Now go and live that one day." He stood in awe, staring at the life that sparkled in the hollow of his hands. But he was afraid to move, afraid to walk, afraid that life would slip through his fingers. He stood still for a while, then said to himself, "When I have no tomorrow, what good is it to hold on to this life? Let me use this handful of life." Then he began to run. He sprinkled life over his head and face, drank it in, and breathed it in. He became so exhilarated that he felt he could run to the ends of the earth, soar on wings, step on the sun, and do anything. In that one day, he did not build a skyscraper, did not own any land, and did not attain any position. But in that one day, he ran his hand over the bark of a tree, lay down on the grass, watched a ladybug, looked up at the clouds, greeted those who didn't know him, and prayed sincerely for those who didn't love him. In that one day, he made peace, laughed, and felt light. He found joy, became fulfilled, and forgave. He loved, passed through, and it was over. He lived in that one day. The next day, the angels wrote in God's calendar, "Today, he passed away, the one who lived 1,000 years." Human life has length, width, and depth. Most of us only think about its length, but what matters more is its width, how we live it. Do not waste today. Is there any guarantee that the sun will rise tomorrow?